morning, everyone. Welcome to
Wonderful attendance during the day.
Monroe County. Oh, there's some background history to that. So if we'd all stand, please, we'll open our meeting with a moment of silence and then the pledge to the flag. Moment of silence, please. There's lots to think about. Things are still pretty crazy around the world. So. And now our pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Excuse me, I should get out of a meeting that over there.
Okay. All right. Okay, we'll start off first with corrections to the duplicate. We have Cindy Tribal with us, our chief assessor.
79,270 in addition. 5,102,060 in subtraction. Or minus 5,022,790.
Any questions?
That's not our one that we were talking about before. Is it 5 million or total up?
That's total up. That's exemption and court orders, but it's not the one that we're talking about.
Okay.
Every 2 weeks, we go through the corrections to the duplicate and everybody nods and wonders what that means. Could you just briefly explain what the 78,000 plus and the 5 million minus means?
So every year we certify in November. November of 2021, we certified for 2022. And these are things that we're adding to that amount, we're taking away from 2022. So we have to do a correction so that when the audit comes along, that you know where your money's are. We do also pick up interim throughout the year, and sometimes that makes up for what we're subtracting. But a lot of these are like court cases that are still left over from the reassessment or current court, new court cases that we're doing. Or if we find like the veteran sells his property at a certain time, and that property goes back on the tax roll. So that might be where an add comes in.
So it's basically truing it up to the moment as best you can. And that's done every 2 weeks, and the interims are done quarterly.
That's correct.
And the most recent quarterly interim was in excess of 20 million.
Right,
So-
that was for 1 month.
That was 1 month's worth of interim pickup. So you have to take the interims, which are, I think, always pluses, and balance it out with this could be a plus, it happens to be a significant minus, but it would, in balance, it would show whether the amount that was certified for tax purposes increased or decreased over the year. So it gets a little bit confusing, but that's why it's reported every 2 weeks.
Right, and interims will never be on our corrections to the duplicate because they're extra, that they weren't part of the original to begin with.
And my question always to Cindy is, are we ahead or behind of where we were when we did the certification? And the truth of the matter is, it very much varies depending on when the interim hits and when it's effective and when the corrections to the duplicate hits. So a correction to the duplicate that hits halfway through the year only yields half of the taxes that it would or you lose half of the taxes that you would if it was certified at the beginning of the year. So confusing, but we count on Cindy to keep us straight.
But Cindy, to be clear, this is not dollars. This is assessed value.
This is assessed value.
So we didn't just lose $5 million.
No.
It's assessed
We
value.
lost an assessment. Of course, you take that by the millage to come up with your correct rate. And sometimes it seems very large. The money for the county is, of course, much smaller. It's the school district where it really makes up the difference. The tax bill is much higher.
With that clarification, I'll move to accept the corrections to the duplicate.
Thank you.
I'll second.
First a second. Further discussion? Questions? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Thank you.
Thank
Cindy.
you. Yeah. Morning, Christine. Okay, moving on. We have any public comments for agenda items only this time? Okay. Old business. Do you hear a motion to approve the minutes of the 4/6/2022 Commissioners meeting?
So moved.
Second.
First, a second. Questions, discussions? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. Do not have any proclamations or certificates today. We'll move on to new business. Under personnel, number 1, do I hear a motion to approve the actions listed in number 1A and B?
So moved.
Second.
The first and second. Questions, discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Moving on to number 2, electronic financial transactions, ratify. Motion to approve the actions listed in number 2, A, B, and C.
So moved.
Second.
Be first, second, any questions, discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Number 3, travel authorizations, approve and ratify. Motion to approve the actions listed in number 3, items A, B, and C.
So moved.
Second.
The first and second, questions or discussions? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Moving on to number 4, Monroe County Area Agency on Aging. Motion to approve the actions listed in number 4, items A and B.
So moved.
Second.
First and second, any discussions or questions? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Moving on to number 5, Children and Youth Services. Motion to approve the actions listed in number 5, A through E.
So moved.
Second.
We have first and second, any questions or discussions?
I'd like to talk just a brief second. Joanne Barretta is the chair of the advisory board, Children and Youth. She has expressed interest in staying on, so we can keep her as the chair, which makes it so much easier not to have to appoint a new chair. She gives of her time to do all those members of that board hires.
Any other questions, discussions? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Commissioner's office. We have a presentation questions at this point. However, we're going to go ahead and make the motion and then have discussion at that point. So, motion to approve the actions listed in number 6, Commissioner's office, items A through G. Yes. Okay. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, now we'd like to have some discussion. Conservation District is here to talk about item D, where adopt a resolution approving the Act 167 Stormwater Management, Broadhead, McMichael's 2002 and Toby Hanna 1997 plan renewal. So, we'd like to say a few words.
Sure.
Christine, let's stand.
Oh, yes. So the Conservation
This is
District.
Christina Haney, our
Christina
director.
Haney, yes, the Conservation District manager. For the last 2 years, the WPAC, in accordance with Act 167, has been working on a renewal of our 167 stormwater planning our stormwater management plan. And this is for, like Sharon listed, the Broadhead, McMichaels, and the Toby Hannah watersheds. This is a straight renewal. There's been very little update or change to the last update that occurred in 2007. So we are, or excuse me, 2002. So we are hoping to have a resolution passed, and then this will move on to the next phase of the process, which will go to the Department of Community and Economic Development and Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection for their approval. So we just be looking to have this resolution approved today. If you have any questions, don't hesitate.
The Broadhead and McMichaels go into the Delaware Basin, correct? And the Toby Hannah goes into the Lehigh?
Which then
Goes into the Delaware. That's why they have two separate.
Yeah, the Act 167 is based around watershed planning.
Right.
So Broadhead and McMichaels were originally two separate plans, but McMichaels is a tributary to the Broadhead, which comes in right about where Walmart is. So they were combined into one single plan, and that's why Toby Hannah is separate.
Just because I think it's really great to have our county people, why don't you stand up and tell your name and your position at the conservation?
My name is David Hooker. I'm the watershed specialist with Monroe County Conservation District. I started back in August.
Oh, thank you. You're,
Drew Wagner, I've been with the district about 12 years, and I'm a hydrologist.
Hi, I'm Louis Kerrigan, and I've been with the district 7 or 8 years, and I'm the head resource.
excellent, thank you. Well, the other planning's with us today, which is really great to have different individuals because it all kind of fits into this, all the work they do. And Christine Meinhardt.
Yeah, Christine Meinhardt, I'm the planning director. I think what Christina, when she mentioned the WPAC, it's actually a group. It's a collaborative. It's not just a conservation district. The planning commission has been part of the WPAC. It's municipalities, watershed organizations. The county commissioner's office has been invited as well. So it's a collaborative effort that we've been working on this for over 2 years to try to take all these ideas and look at it in education and as well as the technical sense to try to update these stormwater modules and be compliant with current state and federal standards.
Interesting, and Fallon's here too.
Yes, Fallon Moran, Open Space Coordinator with Monroe County.
Thank you. It's interesting to have, it's really good. It's important for the county to understand and know the cooperation and the plan, what goes together with all these different things that we're working on, projects. Okay. Any other questions or discussion about any of the other items? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Moving on to number 7. Monroe County Planning Commission. Do I hear a motion to approve the actions listed in number 7, Monroe County Planning Commission, A and B?
So moved. Second.
Okay. Any discussions or questions?
Sure, for under equal time, Fallon, would you care to explain what B means? You
Sure, absolutely. So,
want to stand up?
Stand, please.
so this is the 2022 Open Space Development Program. This is a program that we've been running biannually. Last year would have been the current grant round, but the projects from the previous round were a little bit backed up for COVID, so we were able to catch up for this year. So these are projects that are focusing on creating access to public open spaces. Also a heavy focus on connecting greenways and corridors as well. In the past, I've got some maps that show the previous rounds of funding, just so you can get a sense of where the dollars have gone in the past versus the current round.
Fallon, from where do the monies come for this?
This is Act 13, so Marcellus Jones Bracken Fund.
And with the disbursement of whatever it is here, a couple $100,000, are we down to nothing in the fund?
No, there actually will be a little bit of excess this year. So we had a total of $300,000 for this year's program, and we had $222,000 worth of requests. So we will be moving forward with your approval with those projects. So it is a reimbursement program, and the applicants are required to put up 50% match. So the dollars that'll be leveraged from this year's program will actually be more than 50%, for a total of $321,000. So a lot of times we have projects where the applicants are able to secure funding other with their own dollars, and where other partners being involved, where the project they're coming in with over 50% match. We always love to see. In the past, we have funded, as you see, the colored dots there show the rounds of funding from 2013 to 2019. And I've been just doing some outreach, extra outreach in the municipalities that haven't applied. So we're really kind of filling in the gaps here. If you see the white stars on the maps, we're funding a project for the first time in Fulby Township, for the first time in Middle Smithfield, the first time in Hamilton. So we're kind of closing in and making sure the money is getting dispersed throughout the county. Of course, we have repeat applicants. There's some applicants that come in every year, and as long as the projects rank highly enough, you see some of those dots are clustered in our more active areas. But I do make sure that we get the word out there, and that we're trying to make sure everybody has the opportunity to receive the funding.
You happen to know, I mean, Marcellus Shale got a lot of press 6, 8, 10 years ago when it was very hot topic. Is the funding diminishing?
It's my understanding that we do get a little bit less every year. So when I wasn't here for the 2013 or 14 grant rounds, so they were running, the intention was to run the program every year. But when I came in, we kind of looked at revamping the program based on the dollar amount we were receiving. We weren't really able to offer significant dollar amounts if we just did 1 year. So that's when we started to go with the biannual program, which has been working a little bit better. It allows us to build up the funds and offer, kind of, like I said, more significant pots of money. We played around too with like the matching. In the past, we've done kind of more of a regional. We've had 2 different categories where we've done a regional program where the partners were willing to work with other municipalities. They could leverage a larger dollar amount, but we were requiring a higher match, 3-to-1 match that way, assuming that, or 2-to-1 match, assuming that 2 different municipalities could put up a third. So we try to kind of adjust based on the dollar amount we have. This year we were offering up to $40,000, which was a higher dollar amount than the previous round. And again, because of COVID skipping the year, it allowed that pot to grow a little bit more than it would have been.
Thank you, Fallon.
Thank you.
Can I just add one more thing?
Well,
No, yes, certainly, Christine.
Hold on.
We were going to ask.
That's what I was going to ask you about. Forget it now.
Why did we have to use county money for that?
We haven't used county money for that because the state will fund 35 acres or more. So after the survey was completed, it became 34.48 acres. So it became a county-only farm. And the Marcellus Legacy funding, every year we put money that we receive from Marcellus Legacy into the farmland preservation.
One of the things that's a little known is the number of farms that we've preserved in the county thus far. Number is?
So we had one approved last week from the state, and this one, if you approve it today, we're at 124 farms.
Which is quite an accomplishment for an area that was largely farming, is still largely farming on a particular section of it, but farming gets very little press in the rest of the county. So I've conserved over 100 farms thus far is no small feat.
And you may not know the acreage with that, those 100?
To the 10th of an acre, or do you
No,
want to
just
do?
kind of approximate.
Almost 8,400 acres. We have another one being approved next month by the state, so it'll be about 8,000.
Oh, very interesting. All right, any other discussion? Hearing no, seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Moving on to item 8, motion to approve the actions listed in number 8, capital outlay purchases.
So moved. Second. So moved. Second. So moved. Second.
Moyer moved, Christie second.
Okay, Moyer moved, Chrissy second, thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Number 9, computer capital purchases. Motion to approve the actions listed in number 9. Item A.
Commissioner Christie.
No, after you.
No, I had said,
So please,
I'll move.
Okay,
I'll second.
we have a first and second. Any discussion for the discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. Miscellaneous. I'd like to, I have a couple things I'd like to highlight for the information for the community and those that may be listening. On May 3rd, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., and with the activity starting a little bit ahead of that time at Northampton Community College, the community night is children with the Children's 22 Children's Roundtable will be back in session, back in full swing, I think is a good way of saying it. And I highly recommend anyone in the community, take your families, take your grandkids, take your puppy dogs, whoever you want to take with you and have a good time. Learn a lot about what's happening in Monroe County. Services, activities, support groups, all kinds of things. Schools, colleges, everything that will be there. Wow, I can't remember how many table vendors it was over
Over
100.
106.
I just, yeah, people from the community that are there. Plus our
May
like,
3rd.
yeah. Plus our elected officials are also elected, invited to comment. Okay. All right, thank you for that. And then the other thing, I just wanted to, for the community, introduce Ariel, who is our social media person. And we used to, when the courthouse expansion first got started, we did some sessions for the community as to where we were, work session kind of feedback to the community as to the different, where we were, how the progress was going. Since then, COVID kicked in and we weren't able to do that, but what we have done is social media has been here and she's posting things on a regular basis as to the progress, what's going on, where we are with how we are on schedule, all those kinds of things. So I wanted to make sure those folks that are listening or those folks that aren't sure where we are and how we're doing with it, just go to social media and look at the postings. You're very helpful. Okay. Anything else, guys?
Do you have anything?
Move to adjourn.
No. Strangely, I've got 2 things. One is there are 2 public hearings tomorrow at the Safety Center related to the revamping of our 2 dams in Monroe County that Monroe County is responsible for. The Goose Pond and Levitt Branch dams were built following the 1955 flood to try to mitigate the flooding problems that occurred during that period of time. That's now, 65, 67 years ago. They are no longer at standard, and we have been told that we need to refurbish those. These 2 meetings, one at 2 o'clock and one at 6 o'clock, are the first step in getting the information out for people in the community that are interested. So everybody's invited to attend. Excuse me. The other thing is not a program that is offered by the county, but rather one that's offered by the state. And you've heard, if you've been here before, us talk about the ERAP program, which is the Emergency Rental Assistance Program that makes money available through COVID related funds to renters who are behind on their rental payments, behind on their utilities, etc. There is a new program that has been launched that does essentially the same thing for people who are paying their mortgage or not able to pay their mortgage because of the impact of COVID. And this money is made available through the Pennsylvania Homeowner Assistance Fund. It is applied for online, and it provides up to $30,000 per household, some of which can go for mortgage payments that are behind, some of which can go for taxes, property taxes that are behind, homeowner association fees that are behind, insurances that are behind. but it also provides reimbursement for utilities that are behind. So it is a program that we've consistently wondered, why isn't there something for the poor schmo that's trying to make ends meet with mortgages, in addition to those poor schmoes that are having a difficult time making their rental payments. So this is available, and thus far, even though it's a fairly new program to us, we were only apprised of it a week and a half ago. There have been 176 applications throughout Monroe County for this program. 55, this is according to the dashboard on their website. As of yesterday, 176 applications, 55 applications are approved pending income verification. And actually 2 grants have been awarded for a total of about $17,500. So I would encourage anybody that of the tens of thousands of people who watch us via the several people that watch over channel 13. Let me start that over so that soundbite doesn't make it in. Anybody listening who's having a difficult time with mortgage payments, I would encourage them to go to the website www.phfa.org. The program is detailed there, as well as the application for funding. So we look forward to anybody who is having a difficult time making mortgage payments availing themselves of that opportunity. I have nothing else.
Thank you. Any public comment? Seeing none, we have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, we are
Thank you all.
at 10 o'clock, so thank you for coming. We have salary board at 11 a.m., retirement board at 1:30.